Welcome to Country Carnivore. Today's recipe is buttermilk biscuits. So this idea actually came from another video with just hamburger buns, and one of the subscribers suggested making buttermilk biscuits, and I got really excited about biscuits and gravy because I haven't had them in well over a year. So today we're making buttermilk biscuits. Your ingredients will be 4 eggs. I've already cracked 4 eggs into my bowl, and I've whisked them up a little bit. You will also need 1 2/3 cup of buttermilk powder. So I get this from Hoosier Hill Farm, and I'll link below. I like Hoosier Hill because the ingredients are, if it says buttermilk, guess what the ingredient is? Buttermilk. So they have really clean ingredients. Anyway, so that's where I got this from. Again, 1 2/3 cup. And then we're going to need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And then I wanted a little bit of salt, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. That's it. Now my oven is preheating right now to 350 Fahrenheit, 175 Celsius. And so this is a very simple recipe. Like I said, I've already got my 4 eggs in here. We'll set these aside. Let's go ahead and add the buttermilk, right? That just poofed really big. I wonder if that got caught on camera. I need a spatula. All right, I'm just gonna mix that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my salt. Well, let's do the baking powder first. Tablespoon of baking powder. Now this is double acting baking powder. And the reason I'm mentioning that is once you make these up, if you let them sit for about 15 minutes before you put them in the oven, they will actually rise. And then they'll do a second rise while they're in the oven. So if you want them like fluffy, they're still going to be very dense because they're carnivore and they're not really bread. But if you want them fluffy, just let them sit out for about 15 minutes before you put them in the oven and allow that baking powder to sort of that action to leaven the bread. So now I want to go ahead and put in a teaspoon of salt. And that's it. I'm going to get this all mixed together and then we'll do the next step. The ingredients are all mixed together. It's a little bit sticky. It's probably actually a lot sticky. I just don't want to touch it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to roll this out, and I'm going to basically roll it out and make layers so that it'll kind of make that biscuity look. You don't have to do this step. You could just scoop this out, put it right on a pan and cook it. But I just kind of want to make a more biscuit experience. So I'm going to roll these out. Because I'm doing that, I'm going to need a little bit more of this milk, and I'm using it sort of like you would flour. So I'm flouring my work surface before I put this very sticky dough on there. And I'm just going to spread that out. All right. I promise I washed my hands before I did this. There we go. All right. So this recipe will make 4 biscuits. They are very dense. This is not like a normal biscuit. Anytime you convert a carb, I should say recipe into carnivore, they tend to be a lot more dense than what we're used to. So what I want to do now is I'm going to put some flour on top. Flour, buttermilk powder. At this point, I've manually flattened this out a bit with my hands. I'm just going to I've put some more of the buttermilk powder on top. I'm going to go ahead and put another piece of parchment paper on here. And I'm just going to use my rolling pin to flatten this out even more. Now that I've rolled this out flat, you'll see it's pretty big. I'm going to go ahead and double this up and then double it up again so that I've got sort of 4 thin layers that are going to be stacked on top of each other. And then I've got a nice little bitty cup here. You can see just like a little juice cup. And I'm going to use that to cut out circles, just like you would when you're normally making biscuits. I'm all done rolling this out, powdering it, folding it, rolling it out flatter, powdering it, folding it. So now I'm ready. I've got actually 4 layers in here, and now I'm ready to go ahead and cut out my little squares. Now, while I'm doing this, I will mention squares, round biscuits, not squares. While I'm doing this, I will mention that I've actually got some butter melting on the stove right now, and I'm going to go ahead and brush the top of this with some melted butter just to make it nice and brown. It's not the end of the world if you don't want to do that. I just thought it'd be prettier. So 4 of these. At this point, I've got 4 little muffins that are nice and covered. Biscuits. We're making biscuits. 4 little biscuits that are ready to go in. I'm going to go ahead and take the rest of this dough, just ball it up and throw them on there just to have. I'm ready to put the butter on these. Because I did them so small, they came out to 6 muffins or biscuits. I don't know why I keep saying that. They came out to be 6 biscuits. So 4 of them were cut. I guess I could have re-rolled it, reflattened it, all that stuff and cut it again. I just rolled the remaining dough into balls and put it on here. So now I've got my melted butter and I'm just dabbing it on the top here. Again, you don't have to do this, but it will make it brown nicely and they'll look more like biscuits. Hey, look at me getting it right that time. All right, guys, I'm going to pop these in the oven for about 20 minutes and I'll be checking on them at that point. It could be up to 25 minutes. Again, it depends on how big you make these things, but I'd say at 20 minutes, you probably want to be checking on them. And when I come back, we'll have some beautiful biscuits to look at. The biscuits are done. I just want to show you what they look like. These are the biscuits that I did in layers, more like a biscuit. Here, let me show you. Right? See how it looks just more like a biscuit? I'll pull it apart in a second so you can see. And then this is the one that I just plopped onto I rolled it up and plopped it onto the pan. So not a huge difference. It may not matter to you. And it's honestly a lot of work to keep doing the layers. I just, for aesthetics, wanted to try it out. But let me show you what this looks like. Right? So I can go ahead and sort of peel this open. See how it kind of layers like you would expect a biscuit to? Hi, I'm over here. That's what I'm trying to achieve, is this layering effect. Now that's all said, the biscuits are done. I've actually already, browned up some ground breakfast sausage and I'm making some white gravy right now so that we can have biscuits and gravy. I'll go ahead and link the recipe to the white gravy below. And I hope you guys try it out. I love your feedback. It's definitely inspirational. So, if you guys have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for coming to the channel. Bye.